You got into the safety business because you wanted to protect people, but somewhere along the way, the job started controlling your time, your schedule, your priorities, even your income potential. What if the expertise you've built over the years in the field can give you something more? More freedom, more control, more ownership of your future. I'm Sheldon Primus, the author of 7 Steps to Starting a Profitable Safety Consulting Business and the host of the Safety Consultant Podcast, with more than 350 episodes helping safety professionals become consultants and grow their career. Consulting changed my life. In fact, I'm a full-time RVer, and one consulting contract paid for my home I live in today. Now, I help safety professionals build their own consulting practice through bi-weekly coaching calls, accountability, and personal guidance. But this program isn't for everyone. Start with the Consultant Readiness Audit at sheldon.coach.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
This is Andy.
And this is Matt.
And you're listening to
The Hop Podcast with no name.
What a dumb name.
It's so stupid. Episode 59.
Wait, did you already start?
Yeah, that was every time. I don't just announce episodes in our start of our conversation.
I mean, sometimes you do.
No, I tell you, hey, Andrew, this is episode 59. You go, okay, Matt. And then we never bring it up again until I start the episode.
Oh.
But this is the energy.
I thought you were changing your headphones. Wait, okay. We've just started. We're in it now.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Once the ball's rolling, keep pushing it.
Okay, I'm here.
What are we doing? Tell everyone. Tell the audience.
We're going to try to accomplish 2 things at the same time. The first is we had a great suggestion of a topic. The topic is sort of the downfalls of hop, right? The stuff that doesn't work well.
It's the counter argument. It's the argument against.
Right. Say it again.
The argument against hop.
Right. The argument against hop. Yes. And then in addition to that, I am going to practice something that we tell people to do all the time. That's really hard to do. And that's when you're operationally learning or you're doing some type of learning team of any sort, oftentimes people bring up struggles in terms of executing a process or how something's designed, if it's working well or not well. And if you happen to be the person in the room that either does that work, like you set up the process or you designed the thing that people are talking about, it is extremely hard to ask questions and not just become defensive, right? Not just say, oh, well, it's not supposed to be that way. And this is how it's actually supposed to go. And so we're going to do both of these things, meaning we're going to trash hop and I'm not going to defend it.
Let me give you an example. No, not of me trashing hop. There's plenty of those to come. example of a rule that's put in place that you get feedback on directly. So for me, we have 2 dogs, my fiance and I, and one of those dogs, the smaller one, always has a messed up stomach. So I instituted a rule at our house that if our dog goes outside in the backyard, which is fenced in, to use the bathroom or he likes to explore, you have to go out with him to make sure he doesn't eat anything
that he's not supposed to.
He's not supposed to.
Yeah.
I already know that if I asked Veronica for feedback, it would be incredibly negative about that rule, and I would immediately want to defend myself.
Following your own rule.
If I was just like, hey, what do you think about this whole rule we have now where we go out and we watch Flapjack Pancake, which is the dog's name, who has made previous appearances on this podcast. What do you feel about the rule about watching him while he's outside? She'd tell me this is the dumbest rule and she hates it and it's an inconvenience and it gets in her way all the time. And my instinct even right now is to say, well, that's the cost of making sure his stomach's healthy. So
now, do you follow the rule yourself? I have so many questions.
Ooh, this is a good question. Most of the time. But if Veronica asks, it's all the time. No, he really likes being outside.
Right.
It's his favorite thing to do.
And you really like your dogs being happy.
And
so
I do.
I would imagine you let him out as much as you possibly can. And
so what I've done is I would try to position myself so I can always see him when he's outside. Am I always watching him? That's a good question. But I can see him when he's misbehaving, which is also a majority of the time. He is very mischievous. So that's the rule that we have here that is definitely followed all the time by me.
And definitely not argued by anybody else.
Nope. Everyone loves it. It's everyone's favorite rule. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk. Yeah. Let's talk about Hop.
Okay. This is going to be hard. I think this is going to be harder than I think it is. I think you need to throw some, not for you. So you have to throw some stones, I think is what we're going to, because it's harder for me to throw stones. I mean, I'll join in. But I think you're going to have to start this off.
What do you mean there's no root cause? That's the silliest thing anyone has ever said. There is absolute root cause to these issues. They can be found and fixed, and we can prevent things in the future.
And is my role right now to facilitate having the rest of this conversation, or am I joining in on the trashing? I'm not going to defend it so my instinct is to explain why that statement is not accurate. But I'm not going to do that. Okay. But here's the question. Am I joining in on the confusion, or am I facilitating the discussion for you to tell me more about the confusion?
You're joining in because I'm going to give you what I've heard over my 3 years being an outsider, being the rebel outcast that I am, just joining this hop world with no industry experience. I didn't have the background in RCAs. So I can give you what I've heard people push back on that maybe I'm not 100% familiar with, and you can add to it.
So I am taking the opposite side of my argument right now.
You are arguing against yourself, and then we're going to play it back next episode, and then you're just going to have to fight against yourself for the next 30 minutes.
All right, so I'm both sides of the debate team, and this is...
Yes. This is a debate team is perfect. You are given the position of anti-hop.
Okay. All right. So let me get in the right mind frame then. I got to be mad at myself, mad at the philosophy that I live my life by. Really.
You're coming off as very well adjusted, by the way, because you're saying I have to become
if you
mad.
Can see me like physically squirming.
I have to become mad at myself, and I'm like, I'm there all the time. What do you mean you have to become mad at yourself?
All right. So my argument would be, it's so in this hop space, you guys keep saying that that there isn't such thing as root cause, and in any moment in time, right? If you look at any moment in time, you're going to find something causal, and you're going to also find other things that made that thing happen. It could be one, it could be multiple, but the whole point of why we do incident investigation is to find that thing so that we're not at this surface level. And so I'm really actually, I become frustrated when people start talking about things being complex, because some things are just not complex, right? Some things are just, it happened, and it happened because of physics, and it happened because the physics was set up by a process, and that process happened because people designed it that way, and that might have happened because we had a poor management of change. And if we want any of that to be fixed, we're going to have to be able to trace it back to the cause, right? If we have poor management of change as a cause, we should be fixing that. And to say that it's more complex than that, I think just it creates like this huge cloud of confusion, and people don't know what to focus on. And yeah, actually, I mean, in a lot of places, we're fighting to make any amount of change. And to say that you have to change a lot of things, I just want one thing to be changed, and I want a good one thing to be changed. And I think in this space, you're making that harder to do.
How does that feel? Because I imagine
arguing the other side.
I imagine that in your own brain, it's like splitting because you so desperately want to argue against yourself and you can't. I'm not allowing you to. So enjoy this discomfort. That is exactly right. And people need to be held accountable. If you run a stop sign, you can't do it out in public. You can't do it in the real world. You can't do it when you're driving home from work. What makes you think you can do it here? You have to be held accountable.
Okay. So now, just to reframe what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to take the topic of accountability and I'm going to argue it from the non-hop lens.
Yes.
Period.
That's the basis of this episode. We're going to keep saying all the reasons, basically everything that we hear when we bring this topic in and when people are being open and honest about why they think it's a bad idea, or at least why they're apprehensive.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if we're talking about accountability, I think one of the frustrating places in this hop space is that you all keep saying that accountability is people taking responsibility, but there are a lot of people in our organization that don't want to take responsibility. And if you have a whole lot of people thinking that there is no one watching them, that there's no one that is going to point out their behavior when it's bad behavior, then people do the bare minimum and they try to get away with what they get away with. You're the people that also tell us that people take the path of least resistance, right? So they're going to take the path of least resistance in every situation. And that includes getting work done. And that includes following rules if those rules seem even a little bit inefficient or they seem like even a little bit difficult to do. And we can't run an organization of people that just are taking the lowest common denominator as the way that we can actually run business. And if you don't have somebody there watching and making sure that people are doing what they're supposed to do, the message gets out that you can come in here and it's kind of a free ride. You do what you want. You know, the amount of care that people have for their work is quite low, and that's it. And then that's what people end up doing, and that's the culture you end up with. Accountability is the countermeasure to a lazy culture, and it's the way that we've gotten progress in a lot of places that had that problem to begin with, where people came in and they were doing the bare minimum without the accountability that we put in place in terms of, no, it's not okay for you to do that. No, somebody is watching you. Without that, there's no way that you're going to be able to make progress as a group of people. That's sort of the glue that holds it together. These are the expectations. This is what you have to follow. This is what you have to do. And we're not accepting any less than that. And so, yeah, I have a really big problem with the version of accountability that looks at it as people taking responsibility, because I don't think people take responsibility very much.
And just what about, I don't know why I scoffed. What about
you're not supposed to be playing a character, you're supposed to be arguing the other side, Matt. It's just it's you on the other side.
Who scoffs? I don't know. Anyway, what about cardinal rules? Because people got to follow them all the time without exception, because they are the barrier between us and something bad happening. Go.
Okay, hold on. I gotta reframe my brain for a second. I'm so used to being on one side of this argument. Debate team. Do you ever do debate team like in school?
Yeah, that's what everyone's picked up in the first 59 episodes, that I was on the debate team. I'm sure that's what they've gathered. No, Andrea, I wasn't. I did sports. And
I did sport.
I did sport. That sounds like I played polo. I did sport. No, I swam and played baseball. So
got it.
No debate team. No band. No chorus. And just so anyone's keeping track. If anyone's got a laundry list of what Matt's accomplished, Those are not on it. That's not part of it.
So no math club or
No. But I do think I was elected the student body treasurer. I don't know, something like that. It was like,
and then they realized that you couldn't count it up. So
I showed up one day and they just said, "Hey, we need someone for this position. You're it." And that was the last thing that I had to do for it. So if the books are really poorly balanced from the Middletown class 2006, I'm sorry, I didn't know what to do.
All right. Debate team. Okay, so I am arguing why
Cardinal rules
are really important.
Zero tolerance.
Why we should have zero why we should have zero tolerance around cardinal rules.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm arguing. Got it.
Are you crying?
So part of my difficulty with this subject is the fact that the take on cardinal rules feels soft. And what I mean by soft is it feels like we're allowing ourselves to accept behavior that behavior was specifically called out in order to make sure that people didn't die. And this is probably the place where I struggle with the most in the concept, because we say we're all leaning towards doing the same thing. I don't understand how that can be true if the places where somebody taking a shortcut or somebody deciding that they just don't want to do something that day, or somebody intentionally just violating a rule, if that rule can kill someone else, or cause a really big problem for an organization, I don't understand why it would make any sense at all to give people time and space to argue their way out of it. Because that's what it sounds like to me, is if we're saying that we're going to learn about why a cardinal rule is broken, to me, that just is excuses. You knew the rule, you knew you needed to follow it, and we told you if you couldn't follow it, that you needed to stop work. The reason why that's all in place is to keep people alive. And if we can't follow the bare minimum of that, and this topic is arguing that that's not the right way to do it, well, then I don't really understand how we could even be on the same path of keeping people safe, because that is the basis. When we talk about the basis for being able to do simple safety related processes, you have to be able to trust that your people are going to follow basic rules. And if they're not, then they shouldn't be working for the organization, because honestly, I'd rather them not have a job than have killed themselves, somebody else, or be part of an organization where that's just waiting to happen. And so we can't, this sort of soft, weird response to it is not something that I can tolerate.
I am just imagining a world in which this is all cut up and played against you at some point when you're giving a presentation.
My response to this?
Yeah. Like, well, Andrea, you actually said all these things. So don't do that. Or if they do that, we will play this rude part of the episode. And like, you see, Matt was saying it was all intentional. Okay. Next part.
Oh,
this is probably
hold
my
on.
favorite.
Hold on. I need a break.
Yeah. Take a breath. And then I'm going to just really make it worse.
Okay. Yep.
What do you mean? You're coming in here and you're saying all accidents aren't preventable? All accidents are preventable. That's the stance that we have as a business. We want people leaving the exact way they came in, or better than they came in.
Okay.
And now your responsibility is to continue the argument I just made, like Debate Club. You have been assigned the idea that all accidents are preventable.
Yeah. Just for everyone's knowledge, I'm physically nauseous at this moment, which is a good indication. I mean, we talked about we're doing this for two reasons. One is the fact that it was asked of us, right, to trash it, basically to argue the other side of HOP, to be able to verbalize the perspective of people who are vehemently against the thought process. So that is what we're doing. And then the second reason for doing it is to remind myself and to practice what I preach of, you should be able to hear what people are saying in terms of a process isn't working, or a plan isn't working, or this is not how they're experiencing something. And you should be able to learn about it enough that you can articulate it from their perspective. We talk about it all the time in operational learning. You don't have to agree with the perspective, but you have to learn enough that you can articulate it from the perspective. And if you're not willing to do that, then the difficulty is you immediately become defensive and you can't actually hear what the person's saying.
Did you say that for the listener or for yourself? Because I
both.
feel like you're saying
Absolutely
that for
for myself, right? Because I'm telling you, in the moment, the emotion and the feeling that I'm experiencing is nausea. But I'm going to do it anyway.
Which, so if anyone's still listening, there was a moment before I asked you the last question where I said, "Are you crying?" as a joke, and you didn't respond. And then I sort of chuckled at my own joke, and I was like, "That's weird. Our whole podcast is based off of you and I having some sort of repartee." And then you ignored it, and then I realized, in hindsight, it's because you are that physically uncomfortable that you probably didn't even register.
Honestly, I didn't hear you though.
Yeah.
But had I heard you, I might not have laughed.
Yeah.
I really might not have. Okay.
This is a humbling episode for me as well, then, I guess.
All right. So I am arguing about everything being preventable, right? That is what I'm arguing.
Yes.
Okay.
With the vigor of someone who really believes it. So get into character if you have to. That's a long pause for a podcast. Go ahead.
If we're going to sit here and look at each other and say that accidents are not preventable, I don't really know what we're doing. Like, I don't know what my role would be. I don't understand why we would even be trying at that point in time, because my entire career, my entire thought process, the basis of what safety is the recognition that if you plan well enough and design well enough and practice well enough, that you can prevent accidents. And if we're saying that that's not true, and this topic is saying it's not true, then it's basically flying in the face of everything that we have known to be true. And I can't wrap my head around the idea of not thinking that way, because then what am I doing? I'm just giving up at that point, right? If we're saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, accidents aren't preventable, and yeah, you can just hurt yourself, and you can just slip on this, and we are going to leave all these sharp things around, and we are going to say that, oh, it's okay for you not to follow this rule that's supposed to keep you safe, and oh, it's okay for you not to be actually doing anything that we've told you to process-wise, or oh, it's okay, you can just recklessly use that tool and put yourself and everybody else in danger." If we're saying that accidents aren't preventable, then we're also saying all of those things, because the whole reason we have a process designed, the whole reason we have rules in place, the whole reason we do accident investigation, the whole reason regulatory bodies come in and make sure that you've done things like ladder inspections, and make sure that you've done things like, making sure that your disconnects are not blocked, and making sure you've done things like having all of the safety systems in place, all of the management systems in place, are all designed to make sure that we don't have accidents and that we get to zero. Because inevitably, the whole goal is that people come to work and they don't get injured. They come to work and they leave the same way they left. And if we're not even able to commit to that, then what are we doing?
Sorry, I'm writing some notes for next episode when I make you argue the other side. Yes. So we're at the 20-minute mark.
Okay.
I have 4 more that I've written down.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I don't know that we need to go into as much detail in these, but I'll just say them.
Okay.
And you can tell people how uncomfortable it makes you to hear me say it. Error is preventable.
Mm-hmm.
If you try harder, you won't make errors.
Yep.
Complacency is a choice.
Uh-huh.
You need to keep mind on task and don't lose situational awareness.
Uh-huh.
We drift off of the black line, and that is what causes our incidents.
Because we're not following procedure like we're supposed to, when we drift over time and we
Yep.
normalize our deviance. Uh-huh. Okay.
We don't have Taylorism here. We treat everyone equally, and I have an open door policy, so that doesn't exist. There is no... Yeah, my title might say director or VP, but we treat everyone the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Which one of those 4 hurts the most? You don't have to argue it. I'm just curious because we don't have the time to do
We don't have the time for me to feel the pain, get into character, and then argue it.
Yeah, I feel like you're also at your limit. If I go any longer, I'll lose you.
Well, I mean, days. we should maybe keep in mind that when we're doing operational learning and the person is there that receives the information about how things are not working the way that they intended, that maybe they can only handle about 20 to 25 minutes of that direct feedback, which part of the thought process that we had about why we wanted to do this episode is because in recent learning teams, we've created enough psychological safety in the meeting that the folks that were the end users and the designers were in the same room. And you watched the individuals who were the designers struggle not to defend themselves. And they did an amazing job.
Correct.
Because I am sure that they probably felt exactly how I feel right now, which is wanting it to be done, I just want it to be done, or I want this space to be able to explain why I disagree with my own counter arguments. But in answer to your question, the one that hurt the most was the last one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We don't have Taylor.
The first one, which was about error, yep. Right? And the last one, those hurt the most.
Yeah. So here's what we'll do. I think we have our next episode. We're not going to do
me responding to the last four. Do I have to do this again?
No. I will let you. I will, like a true debate moderator, as I've seen in television because I've never done it before. I will let you argue without question. I will just let you speak to the points you had to argue for.
Okay.
I'll let you argue against, and I'll keep a list, and I'll give a brief recap of each one, and I'll let you just yell at yourself for what you said. So that
can I be both sides at the same time?
No, that is no.
Why not?
Because that would be, I'm not gonna like let you use different voices or like announce that you've changed a hat. No, I will play what you said, and you will get a chance to respond.
Oh, that's not nearly as fun. Don't you have a voice changer on that thing that we're recording this through?
I do actually. I'm not going to use it because that would freak everybody out, and that's not how we end an episode. Maybe I'll start with it next time. Who's to say? All right, that's it for this episode 59. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Well, that's it.
Yep, another one in the books. We did it.
If you want to send us any of your thoughts, actually fling us any of your thoughts, you can do so at the website www.hoppodcast.com.
That's HOPPODCAST.com.
It's still such a stupid name.
It's such a stupid name. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for listening.
You got into the safety business because you wanted to protect people, but somewhere along the way, the job started controlling your time, your schedule, your priorities, even your income potential. What if the expertise you've built over the years in the field can give you something more? More freedom, more control, more ownership of your future. I'm Sheldon Primus, the author of 7 Steps to Starting a Profitable Safety Consulting Business and the host of the Safety Consultant Podcast, with more than 350 episodes helping safety professionals become consultants and grow their career. Consulting changed my life. In fact, I'm a full-time RVer, and one consulting contract paid for my home I live in today. Now, I help safety professionals build their own consulting practice through bi-weekly coaching calls, accountability, and personal guidance. But this program isn't for everyone. Start with the Consultant Readiness Audit at sheldon.coach.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.